Hello, Sandy here again, and I thought I would just spend a little bit of time showing you around our classroom. Um, I am sitting here. You can see me in the lower left-hand corner, but where we are now is in our classroom. So I am, what's going on here? I'm trying to figure out why I do not see our entire, there we go. Okay, so when you click into our Blackboard classroom, you should find this. And the announcements is the page that I have set it to open up for you. And I hope that it does. And this is what you should be seeing right now. So let's just talk a little bit about what we have. I think I'd like to mention first this video right here, this very first video, Overcoming the Challenges of Online Learning. We are an online classroom, and I find that this particular online classroom, people overwhelmingly do pretty well, probably because they are surprised at how actually interesting the subject matter is, even though it's called ethics, which kind of makes people go, ugh. But even so, this video, I really highly recommend that you watch it before anything else because online learning is very different than face-to-face classroom learning. It actually requires more of you. I think a lot of students feel that online learning is going to be easier because they don't have to show up in class and because they can work at their own speed. And there is some of that. But there's also interaction and deadlines and due dates. And there's something psychological about having to show up in class that gets students sort of organized to do things in, when by the time that they're due and so forth. Whereas when things are kind of loosey-goosey about when you have to show up on the Blackboard discussion board in order to participate in class, that people end up saying, I'll do it tomorrow. I mean to do it today, but I'm not going to get around to it. I'll do it tomorrow. Pretty soon the week is gone and you are behind. So I find as a statistical thing that about 20% of my online students, if there's 20 in a class, then that's 2, it's 4, yeah, 20%. But anyway, will not easily organize themselves up front. Now, I will keep track of that, and if I notice you missing, I will come after you. But I have a lot of students, and so I think it would be great if you watch this video, and I will tell you all the tricks and all of the things that you need to think about so that you will succeed in the class and that you will have the tools that you need to organize yourself. So, all right, the second video is also kind of important. It's what is a substantive comment? And although you don't need to know that right this minute, our classroom is a discussion board. And so if you go here up on the left, you'll see we have a lot of links. And there's a discussion board link. And I don't know how long it's going to take. My computer seems to be a little slow today. But for example, here is our welcome discussion board. And you will see that a bunch of you have already been in here to introduce yourselves. And you can use a video or you can use a set of pictures. I think I used a set of pictures. Here's me. I'll just show you this as an example. You may have already been here and seen this. And again, everything's very slow today. Yeah, so there's a picture of me. There's some information about some of the things I've done. You can see I have a lot of dog stuff going on in my life. There's my granddaughter who's almost 5. Actually, I should put up a better picture. But anyway, my granddaughter was born in Flagstaff. She actually lives here now. I think I should really update this. What do you think? Anyway, regardless, yeah, it's time for me to update this. Regardless, you will also show up on the welcome board, introduce yourself. And again, it's fine to use a video. We'll get to know each other, and that is what basically we've got going this week. But at any rate, my point is that this is the discussion board is where our classroom is, and we will actually be talking about the topics. And you will be given questions on the syllabus, and I'll show you that in a minute, but you'll be given questions to answer. And then you'll have some time to put those answers up. And then after that, what will happen is you will have some more days to go back and enter discussion about what your fellow classmates have posted. And this little video about what is a substantive comment, you're actually going to be graded on your comments as well as what you posted. And I want to make sure that the discussion is a high caliber discussion that is not make work for you, that you actually get something out of it. And the way to ensure that you do that is for me to not let you use your comments for things like, whoa, that's awesome. And instead, I've come up with 5 different choices that you have for how to interact with your classmates, 5 ways that will actually deepen your learning and everybody else's learning who's on the board. So to make sure you get the most points, you will want to watch that and see what 5 things I think of as the right way to participate in an online class discussion. All right, so let's go here. Now, I'm afraid what you're going to find when you get here is nothing because I don't think I've uploaded the syllabus yet. But let me see if I can find it down below. All right, so yeah, this is our syllabus. You can see this is our spring syllabus, and I wanted to double check all the links before I uploaded it, but let me just take you down to the projects and the deliverables, all right, because you can read the rest of it yourself. Here are the things that we will have. I have assigned you readings and in some cases videos or films, and as I just explained to you, the discussion board. There will also be a big project at the very end of the semester where we will talk about ethical engagement. And ethical engagement is basically, if you think about it, the whole reason we need ethics is because we have to relate to each other. If we were all Robinson Crusoe on an island and it was just you and the soccer ball, it might be some ethical engagement with your soccer ball, but probably not. But it's because we don't live on an island that we create ethical rules, and it's all about how we interact with each other based on our role, our duties, and so forth. So, excuse me. All right, so where am I? So we will have this ethical engagement simulation, and then there will be a group and peer evaluation at the end. So it's all discussion plus this fun simulation toward the end. All right, so those are your grades, and I'm going to just skip right past them because you can look that over, and if you have any questions. Here is the important thing. Every week you will see we have a week's worth of assignments. And let me see if I can make this bigger for us. Just for the purpose of you watching this. I'll put this up to 225 and hope for the best. Yeah, okay, that's better. So what you've got, if you just look at this turquoise thing, is here's the first thing over here. This is the week, and our first week is January 16th through 21st. Now, you will notice this is actually Tuesday through Sunday, and that's because in online class, you are allowed to work on the weekend, and I consider the whole week our online week. So here is what you are asked to do, and that is basically to show up and read what I've asked you to do. So here this first column, what we've got is an orientation and a welcome, and that's our time. Readings, I don't actually have an article or anything for you, but I have given you a place that should really say like readings and readings other. All right, so this is a personal values inventory, and it will help you see what you actually, what your values are. And you can compare what it tells you about yourself to what you think about yourself, and hopefully it'll give you a little personal self-discussion, self-reflective opportunity. There's also a case scenario that is on the Blackboard classroom, and let me just go back there for a second. Here's the course materials. All right, so articles and handouts. Let's see if it's in here. Yeah, so here is your KUAZ case study, and we're just going to start with that. And I've asked you to pull it. Let's see. Let me go back to where we were. Right here. Yeah, there we go. So that's where you'll find it in the course content folder. And then if you come over here, this is what we're doing together in our Blackboard discussion board classroom. Get online. There's the link just to get online and check out our course page. Find your way around, look at stuff, click on stuff, see what's where. Then create a personal introduction. And that's because, you know, what I said to you about it's harder to be in an online class. One of the interesting things about being in a face-to-face class is you walk in, you may or may not know anybody, but pretty soon you get to know people. You form actual bonds, and those bonds actually help you want to come back. So by doing this personal introduction, either by video or with pictures, it helps us get to know each other and begin to form some bonds. That's hard to do online, but we're going to do our best. Okay, so then I've also got a place on the discussion board for you to sign up for meeting times. And the reason I'm having you do that is because there are some exercises that require you to find a partner. And if you know if you are good on weekday evenings, then you can go to the discussion board, to that forum, the sign up, and see who else is good on weekday evenings. If you're good on weekends, you can see who said, I'm really good on weekends, and you can connect with them. All right. And all right, so then it says there's a welcoming audio. Well, there won't be actually. There will be a welcoming video. See, this is how come I have to go through this thing with a fine-tooth comb. All right, things have changed. In the old days, I didn't have all this video capacity. I probably updated this 100 times and never noticed that. Okay, so, and by the way, I should tell you, you may find mistakes on this. I try to check all the links before I put the syllabus up, but sometimes links break or whatever, and it's just me, and as you can tell, there's a lot of detail here. So you are my village. If you catch a mistake, please just email me and I will fix it, or if a link to something you're supposed to watch doesn't work anymore, I will find you a better one or whatever. Okay, so and then it says down here, do, and you notice I've got little check boxes. So as you do everything I ask you to, you can sign them off and you'll know you've done your whole week's worth of stuff. Follow the directions on the KUAZ case study. So you're going to pull it down, and at the top are directions, and it's a baseline. We're going to work with it later. So just follow the directions, and it's due Friday at 8 a.m. You're going to post it on the discussion board, I think. Maybe not. This is a little confusing. See, it's good for me to read this and see. It doesn't say to post it on the discussion board. I will be back with you on this. Okay, and then this is just notes and other stuff. Most of the time, this stuff is just extra stuff. If you're interested, it's nothing required unless it says it is. But for example, I've given you an ethical style quiz that you can go and take, and it's kind of interesting. I won't say it's completely thorough, but again, kind of like the values inventory, which I asked you actually to do. This one's optional, but if you enjoyed the first one, you might want to go for the second one. This second link here, transparency.org, is a website where they actually keep track of the latest international corruption scandals. And if you're interested in looking at that, or if I ever invite you to find an example of something, that's a good resource for you. And the next one is a place called the Hauser Center, and it actually is a place where you can go read up on the latest nonprofit scandals in the news. And it's always very disturbing to me to go see what's up there. All right, so anyway, you just will see that from place to place, from week to week. This week 2, next week, we will be looking at personal ethical foundations. We'll be talking about our own ethical bases, and on the discussion board, okay, so here we go. Here we go. Please notice this. Your first post, in other words, answering my questions, must be made not later than Thursday at midnight. And why is that? It's so that everybody has time between Thursday at midnight and the next Monday morning at 8 a.m. to go back and make comments, those substantive comments we were talking about, on the discussion board. All right, so let's go back to our classroom. Okay, so announcements, syllabus, which will be there by the end of the evening, probably before you watch this, but it isn't there right this second. Course materials, which, by the way, there's some stuff down here. Midterm message, WIMBA group. You won't be able to see that. That's just in the instructor's version. Here, I'll turn that off and see what you will see. I don't see what you guys see. Actually, okay, maybe you will see that. Who knows? Anyway, what you see and what I see are often different things. All right. Later, we're going to sign up in groups. You don't need to worry about that right now. Here's the discussion board. What is this Dropbox? This is the place. Oh, here we go. This is where you turn in your week 1 assignment. I should put that right on the syllabus, right? I think I will. Let's to the Dropbox. Probably says somewhere else in the syllabus that everything that gets turned in, except if it says discussion board, goes in the Dropbox. But link on classroom link menu. Okay, so that goes there. That gets turned in there, and that's a baseline actually. All right, I think I said that before. But anyway, so this is the Dropbox, and you will see there are some extra credit. There is apparently there's a week 1 assignment. There's a week 9 movie extra credit. There's a Menzel article that's an extra credit. There's a week 12 extra credit. Here is your peer assessment, and that will happen after the simulation at the very end of the classroom. This is your final, this is where you'll put your final report for your simulation, and we'll get into that later. You don't need to know. And grad students have an extra assignment that they need to do, and that will be spelled out also in the syllabus. But the important thing to know is that if you're a grad student, you need to do it, or else you'll get undergraduate credit. The course material here is upper level, and so it's appropriate for both grads and undergrads, but you need to do something extra in order to qualify for graduate credit. Okay, so if you need to communicate with students in the classroom, we have an email function that will help you. And if you just click on that, if you haven't seen this before, you can go down. You got lots of choices. So if you're looking for somebody, you're going to go single or select users. And what you'll see is these are all the people in our classroom. It doesn't tell you your individual email address, it just sends one for you. So if I want to send an email to Janessa, I basically put her name, I click on that little thing, she's selected, I type in my subject right here, then I type in whatever it is I want to say. Janessa, will you work with me on this particular project? And then you hit submit. If you want to, you can always say, Janessa, it'd be easier if you'd reach me at, and give a text phone number or give a better email address for you if you want to share. If you don't, this is anonymous, but still lets you get a hold of your class members. So that's important to know. All right, so let's just go back. This is our classroom, and let me see if I have put up a hallway conversation yet in the discussion board. I don't, but what I will do up here is put something called hallway conversations, and that's for questions. Now, you're free to email me if you have questions, but if you think your question is something that's going to be of general interest to everybody, then what we want to do is put it up where everybody else can see the answer. And so I'll just create it in a couple minutes. Let me talk to you for just a couple minutes about what it is that you can do if you get into a pinch. So whether you find yourself falling behind, which again goes back to organizing for an online, or whether you don't understand an instruction, or whether you can't find something that it's supposed to be in the course content material, the course materials, or a link doesn't work, or whatever, or if you're having some other problem that you want to talk to me about, you do have options for getting a hold of me. This hallway conversations, which I'll finish as soon as I get off of this video with you is a place to put any questions that you think might be of general interest to everybody else. That saves me from having 10 of you email me with the same question. And let me just get out of this for a minute and show you something. Let's cancel this for 1 second. This is how I set these things up. All right, so let's just look at the welcome board. Every one of these forums, the discussion board and the welcome board, has a subscribe button right here. And I highly suggest that you hit it, that you subscribe to each of these forums, because that way you won't have to remember to come back. When a classmate actually posts something, it will send you an email. And that's great. And it will show you the content of the discussion board thing. And if it's something you're interested in commenting on, you can just click right through and go back there. And that will help you remember to go back to do those classmate conversations. All right, so what else do you need to know? I think I'll go over the grades probably sometime in a week or two. I think there's enough stuff. You don't have a book, so that's one thing. You don't have to worry about buying a book. We do have deadlines, so pay attention to the deadlines. They are in the syllabus and on the calendar, and you're responsible for looking for them. They're in that weekly area. I probably won't get online and remind you your deadlines every week because you're all adult upper level learners. And I think for right now, that's probably enough. And I will be back with, minor things as they come up, or smaller, more discrete things that I can talk about in a few minutes. But this and the other first week videos, I think, is enough lecturing for 1 week. Okay, everybody, I will see you on the boards. I look forward to it. Again, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me.